Hello, guys and gals, me Mutahar, and did they just fix the crappy Grand Theft Auto trilogy? Now, ladies and gentlemen, over a year ago, I want to say, Rockstar Games released the GTA Definitive Edition. So Grove Street Games was brought in to basically take a mobile version of Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, port it over to the Xbox 3, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PS5, the Xbox Series S and X, Switch, PC, and bastardized my childhood, all right, in front of most people's childhoods, in front of everyone, okay? Rockstar Games basically took a dump on the games that basically put them on the map, okay? So what was supposed to be a big celebration of like Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, San Andreas, that PS2 heyday was basically a mocking, it was basically a mockery, okay? Everyone made fun of it. It was one of the worst releases. It filled with so many bugs, so many issues that one could honestly make a multi-hour part breakdown, and people have, on how broken those releases were. Now, obviously, since then, there have been patches. For instance, with San Andreas, how the entire game world was basically not covered in haze. So if you took a helicopter and just went slightly above Los Santos, you could see all of San Fierro, all of Las Venturas, and the whole veneer of like this being a massive state that Carl Johnson would go around and jot in would basically be ruined. Later on, they obviously added some features. They fixed up the haze. They fixed up a bit of the collision issues where, characters would just fall right through the goddamn ground. Yeah, these games still aren't perfect, but they're in a much more playable state than before. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of people that enjoy the Definitive Edition because of quality of life updates. For instance, Grand Theft Auto 3 finally has an in-game map, okay? You don't need to be figuring this stuff out as you play back in 2001. They got GPS lines so people can figure out exactly where they need to go. And a checkpoint system. Look, I ain't gonna kid around. Previous Grand Theft Auto games had some serious goddamn problems with checkpoints. I mean, sometimes you could be playing a goddamn mission. You could be rescuing Lance, get killed towards the end, and have to redo the whole mission over again, okay? Sometimes the game would expect you to drive from one end of the city to the other. And that's, some people might find that fun. You might be bricked up to do that, but usually I'm not, okay? So there are some good quality of life updates with these games that are appreciated. The graphics initially seemed to be cool until we realized that the goddamn atmosphere was gone. The neon-soaked streets of Vice City might have been the only playable part of that trilogy when it dropped, but the atmosphere from San Andreas and that orange haze that you would get in Southern California, that was gone. GTA 3's dark, dreary, backrooms-esque liminal space world was just lifeless and soulless, okay? But again, recently, they've released the trilogy on cell phones, okay? So if you got an iPhone, you got an Android device, you can play these games for free if you have a Netflix subscription, or you can buy them for $20 a pop. And I shit you not, these games actually look way better than what we got on the PC, what we got on the consoles, and what we got anywhere. This is the actual Definitive Edition of the fucking Definitive Edition. So I want to reiterate, we went from a shitty mobile port that was ported over to PCs, consoles, and now I guess ported back to the mobile platforms, except finally good. What a weird world I live in, okay? Now, of course, looking into it, the actual game is pretty much there. They added something known as classic lighting, which basically reiterates the atmosphere from each of these three games. So with GTA 3, you get that sort of depressing, East Coast 2001 Liberty City vibe back. With Vice City, it's all soaked in neon. You got those beautiful sunsets, all in Vice City. And with San Andreas, you got that beautiful orange haze that we all knew and love. And again, this is what we wanted. If this was the actual trilogy that Rockstar dropped on the PlayStation and PC and Xbox and Switch, I would be the biggest fan. I would never have a complaint. This is literally all I wanted. And from the amount that I've played, which admittedly isn't all that much, the bugs aren't really there. So again, there's just positivity going out with this. And I didn't have any hope for the goddamn cell phone versions of these games to be killing it, but they are. So what's funny about it too is the community has spent basically the day comparing the actual visuals. So this user has shown, no shit, Vice City actually looks good now with the definitive edition. And you know what? You can connect a controller to your phone, so you don't even need to use touch controls, which is a good thing. Then, of course, there's also the classic lighting. So to show you right now, you've got this classic lighting right here, where there is no haze. It's literally just Unreal Engine, light just basically hitting you. Down in the bottom, you can see that it's not just colors that are changed around, it's just the entire environment is better in general. This looks closer to what I remember playing on the fucking PlayStation 2 versus this terrible excuse. And of course, it gets even better too. You can see even in the distance, that blue shade, that sky actually matches real sky. This looks like, again, somebody just wanted to make like a Unity Unreal Engine asset flip of the original game. Bafflingly wild that they actually finally added this option in. And of course, even the actual cutscenes look better too. So for instance, with this cutscene with Ryder, the lighting, the shadowing, all looks really well. And again, I think even the character models got updated too. Back in San Andreas, I don't know what they were doing with Denise, whatever crack pipe was at Rockstar or what was it, Grove Street Game Studios office. That's finally been removed, okay? There is no crack pipe anymore. The models actually look decent. I mean, just look at the screenshot. You actually have like that proper orange haze of what I expect Southern California to be like. God damn. And that said, this is where a lot of the positivity is going to stop too. Just because they added classic lighting, I feel like the developers here forgot that there were 2 more cities past Los Santos. And it really does seem like Las Venturas and San Fierro, which are 2 distinctly different cities and vibes in the game, are just homogenized into the same classic lighting, so to speak. When it comes to definitive editions, you would even hope that, Las Venturas, which, again, the original PS2 wasn't the most lively city, but you would think that they would retouch up some of the traffic patterns, in my opinion, and at least make these games more livelier than they were, like over 10, 15, almost 20 years ago at this point. These games are old. They are built on really aged hardware, and this was their chance to revitalize some of these games. And maybe if you couldn't match it to like GTA 5's levels of, traffic, pedestrian density, you could at least somewhat get there. Thankfully, mods exist, which unfortunately cannot be translated over to the phone versions, and that also means that the soundtracks, which might as well be theme songs for these entire games, Vice City and San Andreas specifically, still need to be modded in. It sucks, but, these are still just... This is a far better cry than what we initially got, but we still got a ways to go. Even like the character model of Ken Rosenberg just looks better in the iPhone version versus whatever plastic dog shit was in the PS4 version. Again, how is it that Netflix, I don't know who's responsible, Netflix, whether it be Rockstar again or another studio they've hired. Again, look at that stuff, man. You've got like classic lighting over here actually matching proper lighting standards, and then you got the modern, like whatever butchery they've done initially. Like, this palette alone matches what I expected from the PlayStation 2 anyways, and it got rid of this weird blue effect that just was in the original, release. Like, right here, look at that. That matches the PS2. There's actual color. It's not washed out like whatever you see up here. I mean, goddamn, this is all we needed. Look at that. Look at that. You can actually see the sun, man. You can actually see the sun. You can, there's just color here. There's atmosphere. It's literally like atmosphere toggle. It's not even classic lighting. It's just atmosphere toggle. Look at that. I mean, that is Liberty City. That's what I expected Liberty City to be. This is what I expected Liberty City to be if, like this right here is what I expected Liberty City to be. Dark, dreary, not this shit. This has no soul to it. And the thing is, I don't even know why this isn't close in the original game anyways. Even other Redditors here agree that, listen, it's unbelievable how close to the original the lighting looks. And again, this person's true. What they're saying is actually objectively true. Comparing this to the PS2 releases, this is about as close as you can expect to an actual proper remastering of the original games. So I wanted to look up the developer for this, and it seems like the developer is Video Games Deluxe, who I actually ended up finding out was based in Sydney, New South Wales, and this is the people behind LA Noire VR Case File. So I don't think it's Team Bondi exactly, but these are the guys who worked on LA Noire VR and allegedly San Andreas VR, whenever that shit releases. So it doesn't seem like this port was made by Grove Street Games. Thank God for that, okay? Listen, I'm sure they're fine developers, okay? They just happened to fucking butcher one of my favorite franchises growing up, okay? They ruined it, but these guys, they managed to actually make it look pretty decent. So again, I don't know who's responsible for this, whether it's Rockstar, who realized, maybe we can't screw up our legacy again. Maybe it's this Video Games Deluxe, or maybe, honestly, it could just be Netflix, okay? Maybe Netflix stepped in and said, listen, we gotta have some standards. And if Netflix did that, then you know what? I don't care what Netflix has produced that has been bad. I will be willing to forgive them for almost anything except cuties, okay? That's just like Satan incarnate right there. But you know what? Not a bad fix. Look, at the end of the day, I'm just happy to see one of my favorite franchises, the legacy of it, somewhat reclaimed, okay? And the thing about it is, I really hope this isn't locked to just cell phones. That would be a goddamn travesty. So to understand, this is something that I actually am not holding my breath for. If I did, I would be on the ground dead from lack of oxygen. And let me tell you why. Rockstar released GTA 5 on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S with features like ray tracing, exclusive content to online services. They have not, for over a goddamn year, ported that enhanced and expanded content over to the PC, a system that could easily handle a lot of their upper generation enhancements. They haven't done it, so I'm not expecting Rockstar to ever port whatever magic they did for a cell phone over to the PC or consoles anytime soon. Would I enjoy it? Obviously. I'd love to play these games on the Steam Deck with this new lighting and atmosphere and these fixes. Do I expect them to? Absolutely not. I think because of Netflix being involved, there might actually be a deal in place to maintain exclusivity for mobile devices, which is just insane, man. Like, the fact that the second best way, or maybe even the first best way to play these games now is tied to a cell phone. It's just, it's like God is playing with me, man. Like, honestly, dude, honestly. Now, to be honest, while this collection is still... Now, while you could play the Definitive Edition project, these are still, in my opinion, complete downgrades. There are bugs, there are plenty of issues still remaining that I don't think are going to get fixed up, but what you're seeing right now is the Definitive Edition project, which are a group of mods that I am so thankful have not been taken down yet, and what these mods necessarily do is they go out of their way to not just patch the Definitive Edition if you have that on PC, but also, let's say that you wanted to play the original trilogy, and you have the original Steam versions, which unfortunately are delisted because of the shitty trilogy. You can download Definitive Edition enhancements, which will actually update the games, fix up a lot of key issues, and have them playable on modern computers with absolute ease. Literally, all you have to do is drag and drop stuff to the actual game directory, and you are ready to go. And these games are back and playable 100%, properly widescreen, even ultra-wide, and of course with the frame limits working up to 60. So again, these are the definitive ways to play the game. And again, if you miss the music, this is by far one of the only ways to properly fix that too. So aside from playing the PS2 version of the game emulated, which is how I would do it on the Steam Deck and how I normally go and play anyways, you can follow really, really simple guides on how to fix the missing soundtracks from Vice City, San Andreas, even 3. And beyond all of this, there's even multiplayer enhancements and whatnot. This is by far the best way to play the game. So if you somehow can get the original copies of 3, Vice City, San Andreas on the PC, then this is how you play it, okay? This is exactly how you go far for it, which is one of the reasons why I really dislike how Rockstar has taken that away. So again, if you have the original copies, I highly recommend download and play with these mods, and you will have a better experience than the Definitive Edition, in my opinion at least. Rockstar Games managed to fix their legacy. Unfortunately, their legacy is now tied to the same device most people watch porn on these days, or YouTube, or whatever. which I guess is fitting, you know? Check your emails, make a call, shoot up some places in San Andreas. Yeah, that's where we're sitting at, ladies and gentlemen. Goddamn. It's outrageous that this hasn't been brought over to the consoles or PC. But this has been such a surprise. I didn't even expect this version to be good, but it is. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Make this make sense. I am out.